Right, there we go. That all looks pretty good. So I've got this link. What time is it? 8:02. Fine. That I sent. I don't really know how to use it. I'm guessing other people have looked at this. So this is the council archives, and I'm guessing I don't know how any of this works. I'm guessing these are the characters who are involved with this. And we've got the adventures of Jinx. So do I click on this? Is that and then do we look through it like this? Is this how this works? Oh, that wasn't the right thing to press. Then do we go through each page like this? Oh, hold on, maybe if I... No, that's just the pictures involved, isn't it? That's not the actual thing, I don't think. I'm just looking at the chat, see if anyone can enlighten us. Or are these the bits... What are these bits here? Okay, so maybe... Hold on, let me look at the other link that I'll send as well. Right, can people see this? But anyway, let's get on with this because you know what I'm like. I can be talking for ages. Right, so this is just an imgur. I don't know if that's how you say that. Imgur images of it. So this looks like the first page. I'm sure this is what we're pretty much just looking at. And then within here, it looks like we've got some information about things. So I'm guessing this is talking about this highlighted bit here. For some reason, I thought this would be interactive and you can click on things, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Hey, last thing. We've literally just started because I've been rambling on for 12 minutes about other animes that I've been kind of checking out. But so we're just getting into this. So this looks like it's talking about this up here. This small mechanical device is a quintessential, I love that word, quintessential example of the Undercity's warping of Piltovian technology. I like the way this. So this is written. Is this part written by Jinx's perspective, or someone has kindly found all the pictures, all the images from it? So is this part as well written from Jinx's perspective, or is this something that's just delivered to us for information? Oh, it's written by an. Oh, so glad you're here, last thing. I really, really, really am. So this part is written by an unnamed Piltovian researcher, I think. So this small mechanical device, what is this? Did someone say, is this what you were talking about, Sarah, when you're talking about Silco's eye syringe? Were you talking about this? Materials that are in our fine city would be used to innovate are here seen cobbled together for some delinquent purpose. That's so judgy, isn't it? The needle-like spears that protrude from its face are polished and sterile. You stare, hypnotized by the magnified reflection, of your own pupil. So yeah, it does sound like it could potentially be Silco's eye syringe. I don't know if that's the best what it's actually called. What do we think about this kind of judgy language by the Piltovians? Materials from our fine city that we used to innovate, and push things forward, and they're just cobbled together down here in the Undercity for some delinquent, so for some nefarious means. I don't even know what this thing. I mean, we talked about this briefly the other day, and I think we came to the agreement that, or most of us did, that there's a bit of shimmer that goes into Silco's eyes, a kind of healing type, a healing process. That's interesting. I don't know how many pictures there are. Last thing, do you know how many of these pages there are? Like, I'm just cautious of spending 10 minutes on each one if there's like 50. But I can have a quick scan through, can't I? This is the thing with Imgur. So 14 more images. Okay, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's right. So about 25. Okay, so we've got time to spend like a couple of minutes on each one if we need to. Maybe some will be quicker than the others. Yeah, Sarah, to be expected by the uppers, isn't it? Yeah. Those. What are you from? So you're Piltovian if you're from Piltover. What are you called when you're from the Undercity? Is there a term for it? Zornite. Okay, so we've got the Piltovians and the Zornites. Fisherfolk, yeah. So first bit we're talking about how the Zornites are using cobbling together stuff for delinquent purposes. Then we've got here top right. We've got the childhood bomb and clockwork monkey bomb. The Enforcer Explosives unit has assured you that this creature is diffused, but that doesn't stop your heart from pounding in unison with its strange ticking. Is it still ticking then, even though it's not going to go off? You recognize it from sketches, the signature work of the blue-haired bomber from the Undercity. So when's this written? Is this written throughout season 1? Just the way they refer to Jinx as the blue-haired bomber. So they don't seem to know her name. As in, her name doesn't seem to be well known. A few people probably do. Well, they do, don't they, by the end of season 1? Well, the council do. It's probably, I don't know if it's spread much further than that. It appears to be an early prototype, painted with the same vibrant colours, but possessing none of its counterparts' deadly engineering. What sort of what sort of child makes a device like this? How would you answer that? An alternate universe thing where they could have been found. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. A diary was written between Arc 1 and Arc 1 and Arc 2, but okay. But when the Piltovians found it, we're not sure. Okay, so I'm guessing we're going to get into some bits which Jinx wrote, and that will be between episodes 3 and 4. What sort of child makes a device like this? A highly traumatized one. The best of us all. And then we've got a mechanical firelight, which is cool. So these are the things. Okay. This makes more sense now. These are the things, aren't they, around the desk? So this is the person who's found the diary. Now this is making sense. It takes a while for my brain to catch up. So these are the items around the diary that she obviously had. It's interesting that she had then Silco's eye syringe, unless this is like a backup one for him, or whether he had entrusted her to look after it and make sure it's functioning properly. And either for him to come to her for it to be done, or for her to go to him when it was time for it to be done. Let's see if anyone's got any comments on that. This is fun though. I like this kind of backstory, even though it's not canon. I like these little additions that we get to the story. I'll just keep reading, and I can see the comments quite clearly when they pop up. So we got a mechanical firelight. You've heard stories of the day when hundreds of these mechanical monsters took to the sky above the Bridge of Progress. And remember that episode. Now fluttering harmlessly in front of you, this firelight hardly seems capable of causing a massive explosion. I mean, I guess one on their own. I don't know if the explosions are that big, but when you got thousands. But Kiriman was there. Caitlin, she's attested again and again that she saw no remorse in Jinx as her devices swarmed the street, even with her own sister among the teeming masses. Contents are canon, the finding of the contents are not. Fine. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So that's interesting, isn't it? We've got this Caitlin attesting that Jinx showed no remorse during that fight. And especially when Vi was there as well. So what's she insinuating about Jinx here, showing no remorse even though, family was nearby? I don't want to go through these too quick. I want to give people a chance to comment and point things out and just say anything that they want to say. Interesting that Caitlin insists no remorse. I wonder what Jinx thinks about that. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I guess from Caitlin's perspective, she just sees Jinx. I'm trying to think back to that episode. She doesn't see Jinx up high, does she? She must see Jinx when she comes down onto the bridge. Is that the first time Caitlin sees Jinx at that part? So she probably just sees Jinx appear and starts attacking them. I wonder if Vi wasn't there, whether Caitlin would still think that Jinx didn't have any remorse. Because then it would just be like a typical fight, wouldn't it, between two sides? But I wonder if Vi being there has affected Caitlin's perspective of remorse, thinking, how can she even do this to her own sister? How can she put her own sister in the way of harm this much. Despite the explosives, the only ones hurt by them with more than a superficial damage were the enforcers. Yeah. First time is when Jinx is using the blue flare. Is it? I'm trying to think because I'm getting confused with the episode order from where I'm editing them from YouTube after I've already watched them and put them up on Patreon. The blue flare, is that after the fight with Jinx and Echo? The blue flare's 6, isn't it? Yeah. And then what episode is the bridge fight? It's after that then? Yeah, 7. Okay. So in terms of this part that we're talking about here, we're talking about 7, isn't it? That's the story that they're referring to. And Caitlyn is saying during episode 7 that Jinx showed no remorse. But I'm guessing that Caitlyn would make that comment based on the fact that Vi was there. Because I don't think you would expect to see much remorse if I wasn't there. I don't think Caitlyn would expect to see it. What have we got next? This is what was confusing me down here, where it says like record 1 voice, section 1 of 3. So I'm guessing these are, I don't know if these were voices. I don't know if these bits and quotes were actually read out when this was interactive. So you could click on these blue people perhaps, and it would read something out. I'm not sure. But it looks like we've got, will my trackpad work on this? Yeah, that's as far as it goes. Is that a little echo I think we got there? And I think we've got a Vi. We've got a Vanda. I don't know what this thing here would have been. We've got a Milo. We've got a Clagger. I think. I don't think it's clear, if anything, we can understand any of this writing. I don't know if you guys want to, if you're watching on my screen, or whether you want to load this link up yourself so you can maybe get a more detailed look. I'm not sure. Little echo. Yeah. What else? We've got a clear little yellow bird here. We've got some writing, but it's hard to read what it says. What's this in the background? Is this the last? Is that supposed to be like the yellow window from the last drop? This is home. Why is Echo so small? Why is Echo so small? So Echo and Powder are the same age. I wonder if that's just how he's remembered, just as a little kid. When I see Clagger here, this looks like this is Clagger's jacket. But it's really too small for him. This is like his belly, and then he's got like these low slung trousers on. So she's drawn this. The biggest thing I noticed about the mechanical firelight. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong thing. I'll wait for the pop up. Okay, the biggest thing I noticed about the mechanical firelight one is that Vi had gone off. Vi had gone off and only ran back as the firelights were coming. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's Caitlyn's just giving an overall kind of picture of how, I don't know what the word is, from her perspective, how like ruthless Jinx is. It's that idea of not showing any remorse. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's like a proper home drawing, isn't it? To see so you can see here what was clicked on in order to read the narrative. So when you clicked on Echo, it said we were just kids. I'm guessing that's why Echo is drawn so small. We were just kids. And this is in exclamation marks as well. And when you click on Vi, it says, oh, this is interesting. So this is in speech marks. So I'm guessing a sister wouldn't abandon me. Family forgives. We were never a family. It's my fault. Is this her internal dialogue? Or is this some things that people have said to her? That's why it's in quotes. What do we think? Let's have it. And these all seem geared towards Vi, which is why she's highlighted here. Her sister wouldn't abandon me. Is that her saying that about her sister because of what happened on the end of end of episode 3? And then is she saying family forgives because that's what should happen? Or is she implying that she wants to be able to give Vi at some point? But this kind of switches, doesn't it? It's like family forgives seems like quite a nice protective thing to think or to say. But then these other ones aren't at all. We were never a family. You know, like saying this picture was never a thing. We were never a family like this. And then lots of self-blame here as well. It's my fault, my fault. That's a really, really common response for people to have. Because I mean, I've seen two reasons kind of discussed around this in the literature. One is that, you know, my caregiver is my caregiver. They know best. If they're punishing me, if they're being horrible to me, if they're abandoning me, then the problem must be me. Because, like, why else would they be doing that? I must be doing something wrong. There's that side. And I've also heard another side, which is it doesn't matter if the child knows who is at fault or not. So say the child does say it's the carer's fault or it's the world's fault, like it's not my fault personally, but they take the stance that it's easier to change me and try to fix me than it is to try and fix everyone else and the world. So again, they take it onto themselves as, okay, I'm the one that needs to be fixed because I can't change everything else, but I can try to fix me. And both of those are a really sad. So I'm turning my heater off. Both of those are a really kind of obviously very sad perspective to take. Yeah. I'm going to pop that out, Vlog. That's okay. Obviously, if you want me to take it out at some point, let me know. In trauma therapy, I was taught we blame ourselves because if we believe that we could have changed, it then implies we have control. Believing we did something wrong is more palatable. Yeah, okay, that's another. That kind of makes sense as well, doesn't it? Cool, thank you. More palatable than believing we have no control over. Yeah, I guess that's kind of along a similar perspective of what I was just saying. Scarier to set powerless than blame. Absolutely. So if you blame yourself, then you can change yourself, and therefore things can be different. But if it's a result of stuff happening to you from the world and other people, well, you might not be able to change them. So that stuff might keep you're powerless at that point. And they sound like quite complex thoughts to have in a child, don't they? It's amazing how that's the sense of it that they can make. And because it is such a complex situation and they don't have the experience and the learning and, you know, their brains haven't developed, they can't see it from any other way. Really sad. That's why inner child work can be quite effective. Right, let's move on because it's getting a bit it's getting a bit heavy, isn't it? And then we got Vanda here. And she's saying, I'm sorry to Vanda. Sorry for more than just the explosion, I'm guessing. Just kind of a general, I'm sorry I wasn't kind of what you wanted me to be, what you expected me to be. Like you were the good guy and I let you down. It's really sad. Oh, this is interesting. So now we've got. So what's highlighted here? I can't tell. Is it? It looks like it's something in the crease of the paper, but I can't zoom in any further. Well, I don't think it would help if I could. Is this something to do with Vanda? Is this something to do with Vanda's demise? And Jinx is saying, it wasn't Powder who did this, it was me, Jinx. And it's interesting that these bits are in quotes and these bits aren't. And this is bullet pointed. Or is she Or is this an X here, and she's saying this is representative of Jinx? Can't tell. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't pick up on that. No, nice catch. Um, yeah, so Sarah's saying she took herself out. Mm. In the book, you mean? Yeah, okay. And yeah, last thing's coming as well. She's hidden herself. Yeah. So this is where she belongs, but not Powder. Me in capitals, and me Jinx. That's where she should be. Right. So Powder doesn't belong there? Is that what she's saying? Like there's no space for Powder in this image because of what happened? And look at these, I've just noticed. So up here, okay, hold on. Sorry for jumping around. I didn't notice these eyes crossed out before. So the eyes aren't crossed out on anyone apart from Vanda. Like, get my mouse. So like Clagger's eyes are okay, Milo's eyes are okay, and they've both gone. Vanda's are crossed out. I didn't see that the first time. I only noticed it here because it was zoomed in here on his eyes. I thought she might have added that in um since that first page, but she hasn't. And I know the X's obviously over the eyes, and we see those scratches, don't we, that we've looked at before. But does the X also symbolize Jinx? So it's not just the person's gone. I don't want to look into their eyes, or the eyes are the window into the soul and all that kind of stuff. But also the X represents Jinx. Oh wow, yeah, Sarah, I like that. This is why I love doing this as a live stream, because if I was looking at this by myself, I'd miss a lot of this. Yeah. So let me just go back. So Milo and Clagger are still kind of a part of her, aren't they? She still hears them, she still sees them. So maybe they don't get the X's in the eyes because they're still about. They're still a part of her. But Vanda's like completely gone. In fact, we don't even see any hallucinations or anything about Vanda, do we? Auditory or visual. That's a really nice catch, yeah. Agreed, Oana. It's really good. So then see in the next page, you're right. So we've got I'm sorry. So here we've got this is just there's no speech associated with this. But here we've got I'm sorry to Kaiga and Milo, as you'd kind of expect. Yeah, that's gotta be intentional, right? Surely. It's also sad that this picture, this blue bit here, also happens to look a bit like a house, like a home. I know it's just the way she's drawn it around Kagger's hand and that, but what else have we got? So we've got another page here. Right. I'm just trying to get it all in for you. So I'm guessing this next page. So immediate thoughts of this page. We've got oh, I'm trying to take it all in. Yeah, I do. I wonder that as well, Sarah. I wonder if she thinks a part of her really did, because we've got powder. This is powder down here, right? Down the bottom right. We've got powder. We've got, I don't know why I've started on this page. It's a bit backward, isn't it? Is this Vanda here in the middle? I'm sure it'll come onto it when we look through in a minute. But let's go down because we're going to. Oh look, there's the missile launcher. What's it called again? Shark bones? Do I keep seeing everywhere? Something like that. Fish bones. Ah, got in just before you. But I don't know, when do we hear it being called fish bones? I just know that because I've seen people write in comments on my Patreon. I think maybe it was YouTube. Oh, here we go. We're talking about fish bones, the other game. Okay. You pick. I know it's like it's impossible to. I mean, it's not much of a spoiler, is it? Hearing what the weapon's called, but it's impossible to avoid everything. But you know, when you read something in a comment and you think, "Oh, should I know that? Have I missed that from somewhere?" Because it seems like quite a big thing to miss, and you start racking your brains, thinking, "Oh, how did I miss that?" It's because there's also this whole backstory. So it's interesting that she writes, "We are perfect for each other. We are all broken," with the fish bones highlighted. Sea monster crossed out eye. Okay, I haven't looked at fish bones in that much detail, and quite predatory as well. And there's that scene, isn't there, where he's looking out the window, um, with the chap from the beginning. I can't remember his name now. And there's like this big fish going past, and he's like, "There's monsters that can't even be seen." So what? So we are perfect for each other. Who's she talking about here? Do you think? I mean, I understand we are all broken because, and that's kind of a little bit insightful for her, isn't it? That she knows that she's changed. She identifies that as being broken, but then she's saying to some extent we all are. Silco and her, maybe it's Fishbones, yeah. Could go with that. So maybe she's talking about Silco. So we've got Silco and her, maybe because it's related to Fishbones, yeah. And we've also got Jinx to Powder. The Jinx and Powder are perfect for each other. Would she be thinking that? I mean, maybe she's reminiscing at this point when she'd be writing this. But again, this isn't speech marks either. I think there's got to be some significance about some of these being in speech marks and some of them not. I'll probably pop this up on YouTube at some point and people will jump all over it. So this could be Silco and I are perfect for each other, and we are both broken. We both understand each other. We've both been through similar experiences, and therefore we can empathize and relate to some extent. But Sarah, you're perhaps saying this could be Jinx to Powder, saying we are perfect for each other. We're sisters. We've grown up together. We look out for each other. But despite that, we are broken and we're not together now. Something's happened. Something's broken that connection between us. I'll just give it another few seconds and I'll move on, see if anyone's got any comments. We can always come back if we need to. Then we've got broken, 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 spelled in different ways. So she's obviously probably written we are all broken, and then that's stuck in her mind. Broken, broken, broken. And what have we got here in the picture? We've got what's this? It looks like she's tried to scribble something out here. I can't make out what it is. Anyone recognize it? Looks like the minigun. Oh yeah, okay, that's a nice catch. Yeah. It does, doesn't it? It does look like the minigun. And also, did she kill that person that looked like Vi with the minigun? So maybe that's kind of stuck in her mind as being broken because she's killed someone. And that's the consequence. Minigun's name is Pow Pow. She calls that Pow Pow. Doesn't Vi call Powder Pow Pow at some point as well? Or Jinx Pow Pow? You don't want to get those two confused. What's this here? Part of me then, when I just glanced over, thought it looked a bit like a bunny lying down. You know, like that bunny that she was given. I'm not sure now. That's just when I just glanced at it then. So what else we got? Then we've got, oh man, this would be so much cooler if we had access to the interactive version. We got, there's something there, but it's too faint for me to see it on my screen. I'm no good. It won't work. They never work. Who's it? Is this Jinx here pictured? Yeah. And is this one of her bombs perhaps? And she's saying, I'm no good, it won't work, they never work, as in her bombs never work. But they have been working up to this point, haven't they? Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. Yeah. But if she's written this between 3 and 4, oh yeah, they haven't, have they? Potentially. I keep forgetting how much time has passed between episode 3 and 4. Because there wasn't so much time between 6 and 7. I forget there was so much time between 3 and 4, which is when this is. I also Jinx as a front to talking of Powder. One. She would be there. She can show them all. Yeah. So yeah, I reckon that's right. I reckon this is related to the bombs. I'm no good. Like she's defining herself pretty much purely on her ability to make a bomb. Or a bomb that works. And this could be a bomb that doesn't work. Or perhaps a bomb that worked too well at the end of 3. It won't work. They never work. Because she knows they do work because of the one at the end of 3. but not work as intended, I'm guessing, or it didn't have the desired effect, maybe. I don't know. What do people think? That was with the help of Hex Tech. She doesn't have more blue orbs. Oh yes, that's right. Yes, that yeah, that's right. That's why that was so powerful, wasn't it? Good point. So her normal ones don't work, but the one with Hex Tech did. And she's got no access to more anyway. So she has to be able to make some kind of weapon without that now. Maybe she can't. So she's like, I'm no good. I can't make it now. Point. Good point. Well presented. Then what else we got here? We've got sister says I'm not good enough. And see again, this isn't in speech marks as some of it was earlier. I still think there's a significance there. Sister says I'm not good enough. She doesn't say it, but she thinks it. So is this her thinking about the past now? Where her bombs weren't working? Or maybe she's thinking about in between 3 and 4 when she's trying to make bombs and they're not working, and she's imagining Vi saying that she's not good enough. Yeah, could be. Could be. I'm not sure. What I'll probably do is I'll look at if there's any other analysis of this. I'll go and have a look and see their perspective. Yeah, potentially they were directed specifically at other characters. But the speech bubbles were only directed at other characters, I think. I think the quotation marks are what she would want to say to her family. Yeah. So stuff that she's hearing internally, like this sister says I'm not good enough, is bullet pointed. I can see it when she looks at me. So obviously between 3 and 4, she doesn't see Vi, does she? So this is her thinking back to the past. Which is really sad because it feels like that her takeaway of what her past was like with Vi is really skewed, isn't it? It's really focused on the negative and what we would call discounting the positive. So there's no recollection of any of the positive stuff that happened. There's just the kind of remembering, and it's not it's remembering. It's not remembering facts. It's remembering. How would you describe it? She's skewing it so much towards stuff that wasn't even really true. The stuff that she now thinks was true. Yeah, she could be. Yeah, so she could be seeing Vi as a hallucination, I guess. And she could be seeing Vi as a hallucination whilst she's trying to make some more gadgetry and some more bombs. And I wonder if she sees Vi as a hallucination in that way, it then she'll think of Vi in the past, maybe, because memory networks kind of link similar things together. And we'll start thinking about in the past, I was never good enough. Although Vi didn't say that, she was thinking it at the time. That's why she didn't want me to join in with anything. That's why she always, said she was trying to keep me safe, but actually she just didn't want me getting in the way. And then that's also what she sees in maybe future hallucinations. In episode 5 or 6, she asked Vi after meeting for the first time if she's real, yeah, or not. This could be around. Yeah, so that's a really good point. Yeah. Catharsis, nice name. That's a really good point, isn't it? Because then that implies that she has had hallucinations of Vi before. We know she's had them of Milo and Clagger. So she could be saying, "Are you also real? This is the first time I've seen you, Vi." But it could also imply that she's had hallucinations of Vi before. Oh, does she? Oh, I didn't remember that. Or maybe I did hear that, and I thought it was more of a like general. I've always heard, like I've always had your words in my mind, as in thinking about what you would say, not in a auditory hallucination way. But you're probably right. It probably was more auditory hallucination based on what we've seen. All these different perspectives we can take out of this, and they all fit as well, don't they? They all make sense. Yeah, I mean, people say that, don't they, about people who've passed away, that they still hear them, but it's not in a auditory hallucination way. It's in a general kind of, I remember things you used to said. I would know what you would say in this moment right now kind of stance on it. But this feels, because of the nature of Jinx and what we've seen, it's probably more of an actual hallucination. Let's we did that. What we got here? So we got the other side of the page. All I ever had was her. What's okay? So we're up here at the top. So it looks like we got some people here all scribbled out. All I ever had was her, and she left, right, left. The soldiers marched. Okay, so we've got some kind of evidence of thought disorder here. So let me just, because have I got, say, let me think. Okay. That's because I don't only see my desktop, but I might have. So there's this really good website that I've used in the past, and I bookmarked it a while ago because I actually still use it to make me think about things. So there's this good website called Geeky Medics, although it's annoying, there's adverts all over the place. And it takes some of the guidance of how to do an MSE, a mental state examination, which I think comes from the Maudley principles, which is what we tend to use. And an OSCE is something like objective, structured, clinical examination. So what happens is when you're in training, you have to do an MSE with someone, a mental state examination, and this is the OSCE is the name of the test that you do, and this is the guide to kind of pass it, what's expected. But in here, there'll be so these are, my trackpad's failing to work because my laptop's getting so hot. These are the areas you look at when you do a mental state examination, and one of them is around thoughts. So as you can see here, so Geeky Medics have got some YouTube videos how to do it with someone with psychosis and mania and depression and all these different presentations. But there's a bit about thoughts. So you have thought form. So that's how thoughts are processed. So you have speed of thoughts that you'd be looking at. So patients may demonstrate abnormally fast, excuse me, as in racing, as in seen in mania, or really slow thought processing. This is what I was more looking at, the flow and coherence. Although this doesn't show things like Knight's move, but some of these might fit what we were just looking at. So so we've got all I've had was her, and she left. So she left as in she leaves, but then we go left, right, like soldiers marching. So loose association, moving rapidly from one topic to another with no apparent connection. Well, there is kind of a connection, isn't there, I think. Then we have circumstantial, which is people who include just loads of irrelevant details. Tangential digressions from the main concept subject. Flight of ideas. This I see this. Well, I used to see this when I worked on the wards, on mental health acute wards, quite often. Where ideas run into another, making it difficult for the observer to follow the flow of speech. So that could potentially fit. Thought blocking is when, exactly as it says, when you just stop, just lose your track of thought. Liberation refers to the repetition of a particular response, such as a word, phrase, or gesture, despite the absence removal of the stimulus. E.g., a patient is asked what the name is, and then they continue to repeat the name as the answer to all further questions. That makes sense, doesn't it? Let me just find something that's got the other different types, such as clanging and Knight's move thinking, those kind of things. They're really the two main ones that I can think of. Oh, okay. So actually, the AI overview gives quite a good one here. Seems to be a new thing in search. I've noticed popping up now. So we have things like this: word salad. This disorder is characterized by jumbled thoughts that lack meaning or coherence. Well, it's not word salad. It's not echolalia. That's when you repeat the words of other people. This is something that we look at when we do autism assessments. We've talked about thought blocking. Flight of ideas. So it could be flight of ideas actually, because it says often unrelated topics, so maybe it doesn't need to be unrelated. Clanging. This is what I talked about um, with the flair. People sort of choose words based on the sound of the word, not its meaning. So that could explain going from left, right, left, right. She left, left, right, left, right. And then we've got concrete thinking, which is kind of exactly what it says, and delusional. So there's something there. So perhaps there's some kind of thought disorder just written in there. Maybe we can't identify exactly what it is. And to be fair, like it doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that it is some kind of thought problem. What people said. So I've left the says it so because it feels. Yeah, exactly, Sarah. Yeah, that doesn't sound stupid to say at all. I think it's really common um, for people to experience that. I think Jinx is flashing back to the bridge. Is somewhat related to losing Vi and a cared one. What in this bit? And I guess actually, this she left, left, right, left, 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 right, left. This kind of soldier marching phrase. But then there are soldiers, aren't they? Because the enforcers are kind of quite soldier-like. We were always their enemy. So maybe it's not actually that abstract as I'm kind of making it out for it to be, thinking about it now and reading what you've read. They are more closely linked. And then this last word in capitals just alone. Okay. Yeah. Now now I'm seeing what you're saying. This whole image looks like the bridge scene. This looks like a pillar of a bridge here. These are obviously the flames and the people on it. Fine. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I was a bit slow there. And then we've got Vi. I miss her. I don't need her. Nothing to miss. What's to miss, sis? Miss Vi, all she ever did was lie. I'll always be with you. I'll always. Oh, that's what Vi said to her. I'll always be with you, Powder. But then we've got the rhyme here. Powder. Powder, louder, louder. But that could also be the voices getting louder that she's hearing. It's not just a connection on rhyming words, perhaps. As in clanging, what we were talking about earlier. What does this say about clanging? People is to sort of choose words based on the sound of the word, not its meaning. But I think in this instance, like the meaning, there could be meaning there that it's literally getting louder inside her head. Um, I'll always be with you. She's crossed out powder, and be with you is now in capitals. So where are you now? Yeah, I'll always be with you. No matter whether you're powder, whether you're Jinx, whether you're someone else, whether you've changed, whether you've not, I'll always be with you. And then she's like, well, where are you then? What do you think? Are we can speed up a bit. Shall I have a quick look at how many pages are left? I don't want to feel like I don't want to go through it too quick. So I don't want to feel like we're kind of shortchanging this. It feels like it deserves some attention. Let me just have a look. So this is I can't even tell what page this is. Okay, remember that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we've got 10 more pages. So we can either just like stop and go through another half another evening, or we can speed up. What do people want to do? We can probably just speed up a little bit. I'm just going a bit more in depth just to just try to educate people on how we do kind of mental state examinations, what we look out for and things. I don't need to do that. Because some of this is quite clear, isn't it? Like this whole page here is pretty clear what she's trying to say. Like it's interesting to dissect why some of it's in capitals and why some of it's crossed out, but I think it is quite clear. And then we've got a picture of Vanda with the X's in the eyes again. Vanda died because of me. So this is interesting. That's probably worth a minute on. Vanda died because of me. So she had written because of me, but then changed her mind and crossed it out. Is that because is that because me isn't Jinx at this point? Or is it I just can't bear to think that it was my fault? And we'll have Vander die because I know he died, but I just can't take the blame. I just can't cope with it. Tiger Milo 2, which we know. Oh, here we go. Okay, Powder killed Vander. So this must have been written. This bit must have been written when she was Powder before she had kind of transitioned to Jinx. No, sorry, she must have written this when she was Jinx. No, oh god, I'm getting so confused. This is Jinx. Yeah. So this is Jinx blaming the death on Powder. That's it, isn't it? Because Powder died that night too. Yeah. Got it. So she's not she's not taking this Jinx isn't taking responsibility for Powder's actions. Although she knows, like they're not two distinct parts, I don't think. She knows that she was Powder, but she's kind of putting that behind her now. A Jinx one last time. What we got down here? So that's a Powder picture, isn't it? I'm not sure what this says next to it. A Jinx one last time. So that's her turning into Jinx, I'm guessing. Like Powder did one more Jinx thing, which was possibly jinxing the whole Vander and everyone's death. Jinx one last time. Then we just have Jinx. So this is okay. I need to learn to read the rest, don't I, before jumping in. Sister said I was a Jinx. That's all I am now. So this is a transformation, I'm guessing. Well, not her actually transforming, but this is after the transformation, probably quite shortly before. Vander's body may be in the background, scribbled over. Here. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, end of episode 3, yeah. Because I think that's her referring to being a Jinx one last time. Yeah, the slap of Vi. So kind of killing Vander and the slap of Vi, but then Vi rejecting her, or thinking that Vi's rejecting her, was like the last straw. Yeah, similar fire in the background. Yeah, I think you're right. And this kind of expression is just so sad, isn't it? Then we got another page. So I don't think there's any point in just looking at this because it's going to go into the actual pictures. So we've got I'm not a kid anymore. Where does that appear on here? So it's just above the yellow eye. So here it's this bit here. I'm not a kid anymore. I've grown up into Jinx, perhaps. It's like you hear that thing, don't you, in when you talk about trauma and experiences, and you hear the phrase when children have experienced trauma that they've grown up fast. They've had to grow up fast with the intention being, oh, you've now learned what the world is really like. Like the world isn't as safe as you perhaps thought it was. Yeah, and there is practically speaking as well, the time skip. Is this Silco's eye? Give Silco his medicine. He's not so scary anymore. So there's been some relationship building. He is broken just like me. So that's why we get on so well. We can empathize, we can understand each other a bit. And that makes sense because that kind of fits with what we were saying about her having the eye injector. Is this a yellow eye? Does he have a yellow eye? I can't remember right now. Kind of got a looking at pictures, got a green eye, and I guess is she trying to draw that orange one? Is it yellow? Yeah, maybe potentially. There's my thing. There it is. But that's what she's trying to draw, isn't it? Oh, what she redacted? She's redacted herself for something here in the bottom left. Lined up all the little duckies in a row. Why do they look so sad? They'll be together after wherever people have to go. So this duckies like when you go to fairs, well, you don't anymore, probably. And you'd have like the duckies would move along in a conveyor belt, or they would just be static, and you'd have like a little air rifle and you try to shoot them. So as in you line up the duckies in a row and take them out. Is that a reference to that? And she's like, "Why are they so sad? They're all going to be together. Like they've all gone. They're going to be together in the afterlife, wherever people go." That's my immediate interpretation of that, anyway. And we can obviously see what looks like some kind of. We've got the X's on the eyes here, and some kind of death. This page about Silco also proves what we were saying about her and Silco's relationship. Yeah, I'd agree. And then we have this page here. So if anyone wants me to go back, I can. I'm monitoring the comments. There has to be an. Oh, okay. So that follows on from this. Why do they look so sad? They'll all be together after wherever people after go. There has to be an after. Vi and I will go there. Oh, that's so sad, isn't it? It's like we'll be together at some point eventually, no matter what happens at the end. I think the duckies might be a metaphor for people. Yeah. Well, that's I think what I was getting at. Her first getting her trying to cope. Maybe she's in denial. No. Yeah. Saying there will be an afterlife. Yeah, I agree with that. Then we got something in the top right here, which I can't make that out. Oh, look. So this all carries on. There has to be an after. Vi and I will go there. No, we won't. She doesn't want me. She never wanted a Jinx around. Okay, so maybe it's not as comforting as I just said it would be that they'd eventually make it together. She actually thinks about it in maybe a hopeful way and then quickly says, nah, that ain't happening. So look, so she's saying that even in the afterlife, Vi isn't going to want her. But it doesn't matter. Look, I have Silco now. He trusts me. And look at the way she separated these into columns. He trusts me. Vi hates me. He is there for me. Vi hates me. He loves me. Vi hates me. So this kind of comparison now with Silco. That's really interesting. And in the image as well, where they're kind of like, what's it? Is this what picture is this? Is this supposed to be Vi or is this Silco on the left? Who's it? Is this Vi on the right, looking kind of all hateful, and Silco looking like quite calm, looking in opposite directions? Because this is kind of pink hair, isn't it? Yeah, Silco on the left. He just looks very youthful, I think, in this. And I think it's the shadowing. See, at first when I looked at this, it looked like I thought this was hair coming down. Like he's got some, I don't know, like beautiful mane of hair, but it's not. It's just a shadow, isn't it? This is actually the side of his face here. Yeah, yeah. But she's drawn him all looking all kind of nice and pretty and like there's a monstrous picture of Vi that she's drawn, looking all like teethy and like I hate you. But again, so we can see this shift, can't we, in terms of where she's placing her kind of trust. Would here be saying Vi and I will go to the afterlife, be hinted at some harmful tendencies? It would go well with her toying with it, but yeah, potentially. My first thought is that it's just kind of thinking about the future and just trying to make it so apparent that even in the afterlife, she's not going to want me. But it could potentially link with kind of, oh, I wonder what's in the afterlife. But she doesn't seem like she wants to end it. But she, at the same time, she seems like she doesn't care if it happens. Still getting. I'm still getting Jinx trying to convince Powder that Vi is bad, yet Powder still hopes for a happy ending together. Potentially. I think kind of Powder by this point is pretty much gone. She's kind of out of the conversation. She's still in there. You know how we see in that Imagine Dragons video where there's like that Powder kind of banging on the wall or banging on by Jinx's head, like trying to get out. I think there's still an element of that, but I don't think she has the power for it at the moment. She needs to come and see a a decent trauma therapist. Set her right. These bits that are redacted are interesting, aren't they? And you can't even see through it. How to fell down the well. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Well remembered. I think I even talked about that in the episode. Because it was such an interesting way to frame it. Like she's still there. She's just a long, long, long way down. Yeah, exactly. They stared at me. I closed their eyes, but I still see them. So I'm guessing that's when they were kind of dead. That kind of eyes wide open, staring. She closes them. But, you know, she still sees them. This will come to her intrusively because of what happened. Yeah. Agree. Yeah, it's quite obvious. Everyone I've taken care of. Everyone I've ever taken care of. That's interesting. Not people who've taken care of her. What we got here, this picture. It's like teeth. Is it? No, or is it? Is this eyes and teeth, or is it something else? Everyone I've ever taken care of. Oh, it's just interesting. It's not everyone who's taken care of me. It's everyone I've taken care of. Shut up, they're here in my mind. So we know she has her delusions of Clagra and Milo. So that those bits make sense. Just okay. Oh yeah, maybe in the sense of, you know, go and take care of them. Kind of gangster talk. Yeah, it could mean that. It's interesting, isn't it? Because that's probably what you think of. I think care is in providing care for someone. But yeah. She's getting the gangster lingo on. Now she's being looked after by a mob boss. Vi is here too, so I'm guessing. Oh, okay. So Vi is in her mind. We were talking about this earlier, weren't we? So Vi is up. So she's saying they're all in her mind. Vi is here too. So we know Clagger and Milo is quite obvious from the episodes. And we know there's been hints from what's been said with Vi. But here we go. Vi's up here too. You're a Jinx. So you'd kind of expect her to be hearing. I don't think we need to labour on that point anymore. I think that's just really obvious. And we got a picture here of monstrous Vi again, looking all teethy and angry. Oh, is that it? Is that it, Alex? You've had a look at this? Is that the whole thing? I'm not very good with Imja. I think if you press next, I think it goes to the thing. Let me just have a quick look at the original links that we had. And then we'll be done in a few minutes then, if that's it. We'll have a quick chat about what we thought. And then it's amazing how these go on. Look, an hour and 20 minutes. I'm getting a bit dry-mouthed as well. Just have a look. Here's my post because I think Patrick left the link. I'm getting better at using this software. Look. Right, so this is the original link, and I think it like this first bit. So that first bit we read. Oh, my trackpad's terrible. Sorry. And it's trying to load all these adverts up as well. It's slowing everything down. So I had it just as text like this because this is the Undercity advice. I don't want to read too much as trivia just in case there's. That gives you okay. So it just these are the voices that we read earlier. 1, 2. So this will be. Oh, it was better the way we read it, wasn't it? That was cooler. And this is where it ends. Look, Vi's here too. You're a Jinx. So when it ends with Jinx, do we think this is her? This is a full transformation by this point? Was this the process of transformation? All of these entries building up to that, and the rationale of why? If I click on this, does it look even more detailed? Oh yeah, yeah, it does it a bit? Because that picture of Silco now looks. Oh, I didn't see this before because it had the rectangle, but look, the thing dripping into Silco's eye. You can see a bit more detail in these actually. Oh, it keeps moving around. These adverts keep popping up. Sorry. I mean, just like aside, sadness and everything aside, like this is a bloody cool, like just image, isn't it? You can see really clearly on this one. So the images are better on this version, but the text I think is better on the other one. So with this what do you call it, bridge scene. This is all in so much more detail now. Let's go back to that first. Yeah, there's that first page. Look, I think that's probably the last page, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. When you see all the artifacts around her. I mean, that's an amazing image, isn't it? Let's see if there's anything. No, that's it. There we have it. I think we'll do this as an hour and a half, so we'll go on for 8 minutes. If that's right, people. What do we think? For those who haven't seen it before, what are your thoughts? She has, Sarah, hasn't she? It's quite, I mean, the diary is quite interesting to see it, her kind of articulating that and articulating her inner experience. Oh, cool. That would be, as in at the end of season 2, or is it in between um, one of the acts? Yeah, that we'll definitely look at it after season 2. I'm going to run a poll over the weekend about how people want me to spend the next kind of week or two. Thank you, Alex. I know it's weird, isn't it? Because I come into these kind of streams thinking people are going to expect me to know like loads of stuff, um, especially when it comes to mental health and trauma and things. And but part of the fun is me experiencing it for the first time. I've said this before. I could have looked through this. I could have done a bit of research. I could have done a bit of analysis, then presented something to you. But then that's just you hearing my ideas. You're if you haven't seen this before, you're not getting the opportunity to kind of experience it with me in real time. And to me, that's just more interesting. It's cooler. And actually, what I don't mind doing is now going back and having a look at if other people have taken a look at this, maybe other therapists or mental health professionals, and have a look at their perspective and see how that it either differs from mine or not. Because I look at this as if none of us are wrong. Like I'm not going to go, oh, look at their rubbish ideas. It's gonna be like, oh wow, that's really interesting. How did they come up with that? And why is that different to my perspective? Like for me, it's all learning. I think it's great. And you could see that in this stream, people were pointing stuff out. I was like, oh yeah, never thought about that. Brilliant. Love it. Oh, season 2 has a proper interactive game. Oh, sadly it isn't up anymore. Well, that wasn't a roller coaster of emotions, catharsis, wasn't it? Well, we'll get to see it in the video. I was up there, proper interactive game, came down to the, oh, it's not available anymore, to just come up a little bit. Well, we can watch the video.